Hello, everybody. Welcome to Xiaomura. What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be playing Selena. Selena. The sound was driving him crazy. Monotonous, muffled dust were resonating throughout his head with dull pain. The pain wasn't too strong, nothing unbearable. That sound, more than anything else, he wanted this sound to just stop. Thud. Another knocking sound to the end. He knew it all enough, because he himself was their origin. Thud, thud, thud. The noise of his slipper was hitting the wearer of his desk over and over again, like a huge fluffy moth, frantically ramming against the window glass. And he wanted plenty of things. He wanted to pay the rent in time this month, not to displease his landlady again. He wanted to finish the script. At least a draft, because the draft is way better than nothing, something one can work with. And he wanted to sleep. No, not quite that. The problem, a serious one, was that he didn't want to sleep. He leaned back in his chair, rubbed his eyes shut, pressing his eyeballs into a dancing pale lights appeared. Of course, he took the sleeping pills. When a healthy 8-hour sleep gives way to not so healthy 5-hour nap, then a 3-hour eye shut, break and then goes away. Entirely you stop thinking how this will impact your liver. You want to sleep. You need to sleep, especially if you have already taken an advance payment for this first time part of a gig. And the goddamn text won't just write itself. However, in the text could in fact write itself somehow, he would probably lose his job. He didn't have any illusions in this regard. As soon as the neural networks get smart enough, he and a dozen of other ghostwriters will vanish into morning mist of a new era in literature. He didn't have much of a name, or connections, only some skill and knack to meet the deadlines for the most part. The client was content with this, and was content with the pay, so everything went well what started failing him. Blam! This time the tick got too strong. His foot jerked and hit the board with very noticeable pain. It seemed like he even heard his toes cracked. He muttered a short curse and rolled the chair away from the desk, although he knew now that his attention was not fixed on the blank text file. The text should go away all by itself. If it's funny how the consciousness is detached from the body, he often thought about it, especially while having insomnia. It's like you're working as a team, but your partner starts pulling something. You seem to have common goals, but when all hell breaks loose, you are suddenly left alone with it. And your partner is more interested in watching the fire than fighting it. In the end, you have no idea what's on his mind. Well, at least there won't be any more knocking. Good. A small window at the side of the door flashed white for a moment. A storm? Now that he thought about it, the day was too hot. The freshest state of air still filled the room. This and very audible speak of an overheated network filter. He became sensitive to such things when he couldn't sleep for a long time. Made the entire room seem to vibrate a little. Like a cocoon that's about to hatch. Actually, that did sound like a good line. He rode back to the table, was about to write that thought down, but paused over the keyboard. He remembered the individual words and the general idea, but the sentence had already slipped away. This time, the white light seemed to fill the entire room. Then the thunder followed, resembling a low gut of war, of something large and famished. Good Lord. He called to God way too often for someone who never goes to church. Hey, that sounds a lot like me! That sounds like a lot like me. As if I don't pray. It's just a habit he inherited from his mother. A fierce platter of raindrops pounded on his window. There's no way he could look like this. Yeah, no. But maybe it's for the best. Since he was a little boy, he slept well during the storms. He had seized the moment. He gulped for a pack of sleeping pills. It's nice to have your working tool at hand. Pull up the pills into his mouth and open the window to hear the steady patter of the rain. Then he went to bed, collapsed on the top of the bed sheets and his clothes on. Someone who prays. And he could tell by the sound of water had flooded the windsill and trickled down the floor. He decided that was a small price to pay. He felt a pleasant chill of frost beneath his cheek, the waving haze gradually fading from the room. Yet sleep did not come. He tried to take off his shoes, change his position, take a pill, cover himself, throw the pill away to the other side of the room. Nothing happened. He had just laid there with his clothes, and through his closed eyelids felt heavy and knew it was an illusion. All in vain. He's not sleeping. He can't sleep. You sound like me. Dad, at first he thought he was imagining things. Dad. Dad. Sometimes the knock and pause, but never stopped completely. The sound came from the below, from the first floor. Someone banging incessantly on the door. In which each thud, he could feel the rage building up like a tight knot of pain around his stomach. He is trying to sleep. It is really hard to just leave a man alone. At least in the house that he pays for, especially so that nobody would bother him. He opened his eyes, easy, just as he thought, sprang to his feet and ran down the stairs. Something was blowing inside him. Halfway to the door, he took a turn to the cupboard and pulled out the old baseball bat. He wasn't likely to actually lose it. He asked himself if he would, as he reached for the door handle. No, it certainly wouldn't. But he's angry and he wants the night guest to learn it. What the hell? The rain was still pouring and were rather getting stronger. As his mother would say, the floodgates of heaven tore open. His mother used to say a lot of things. That was on the list of reasons why he had to rent this overpriced house where anyone could start banging the door in the middle of the night. As a cat, for example. What the hell? Ooh, he's hit again, this time loud. It's a cat standing on his porch. She looks like a blue purebred, British short hair in all aspects except for the color. Aside from the smoky gray head, it seemed as if she was strapped into a fat white paint, while her lower part was stepped into a black one. Wet fur clung to her small, rather skinny body dripping with water. The, the cat could have probably slipped into the house as soon as the door opened, but she froze, as if waiting for the host to say something. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Cats are tiger about it, so should I be a... Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Cats are tiger about it. Let her in. Seems to have won. Boop. It was cold outside, much colder than the one you might think. He didn't feel angry anymore. All right, come in. He stepped aside, freeing the door. The cat didn't move. The cat. So you don't want to, huh? He was about to say fine, then close the door and go back to the second room, but a light and the stepping half asleep into morning. He finally realized what was wrong. The bat. He drew away, aiming for the sunblower, but missed. The bat clattered on the floorboards. The cat followed into the darkness with her yellow eyes. The sound didn't frighten her. He sighs. I won't hurt you. Come in if you want. The red cat raised her eyes at him. For this the first time he actually saw and couldn't help admiring how big and yellow they are. How big? The cat's pupils were also large and incredibly round, like two full moons in an eclipse. Just as he thought, he was about to close the door for the second time. The cat murmured something and fluttered into the house, butting him with her wet head as she passed by. She smiled. Strictly speaking, at this very moment, his line had ended. If the landlady found out, and he was sure she would, he had to look for a new place to live. There are plenty of lonely, bored seniors in the neighborhood, he thought. And they only have two hobbies, observing and reporting. The subject and its recipient aren't that important. Well, it's fine. Maybe he'll leave the suburbs. Maybe he'll move to an apartment since him getting privacy didn't work out anyway. The rain was getting stronger still. He closed the door. The cat explored the house with a curiosity stopping by different objects as if trying to understand the purpose. Watching that was amusing, so amusing he even forgot about the stain. When he remembered, it had already spread out, a dark spot of the water in the place where the cat clung to him. He pulled the wet cloth away from his body and stared blankly for a moment, then almost groaned aloud. The cat was soaked, so she probably got a lot of dirt in the house. He decided not to turn on the light. He had enough disappointment for the night. Instead, he went to get a towel. Alright, come here. The cat turned her head to the voice and froze in place. She was examining the TV, a lifeless black mirror, a plasma panel, and a black clear flame that he haven't even touched since moving in. In the reflection, the cat herself looked back. She gave him a long, appraising look, and as with sudden arrogance trotted towards him, he definitely tried avoiding the obstacles. He was surprised. Maybe the cat decided he was more interesting than the TV, or maybe she acted out of respect for her host's will. Anyway, he felt grateful. Finally, someone he can actually navigate with. Suddenly, he thought how nice it would be to crawl under the blanket with a warm ball of fur. It would certainly have helped him to fall asleep. As a child, he had a cat, a gray, huge brash, amazingly ugly and equally beloved. He often fell asleep hugging him. The cat's name was Timu, and he faded into a June night many years ago. The cat bumped her wet head against him once more. He thought the cat would usually shake off the water themselves. Usually it does, but perhaps not always. Hey, easy there, you're all wet. The cat looked up at him with her moon-shaped eyes and muttered something again. Do something about it then. He smiled and got to work. He had to sneeze the fur dry, so the towel soon turned into a wet rag. Should he? Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, cat. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a tiger by you or not. Yeah, right there. This won't do. As he hurried towards the bathroom, the cat stayed still in his arms, a warm and incredibly light body pressed against his chest. He was expecting the cat to bring out the claws at any moment. Maybe as he opened the door, now, or as he turns on the light. But nothing happened. The cat glanced around the new room and looked at him with her intelligent, almost human-like gaze. Not a single muscle in her body moved. She was curious, and that's about it. She trusts me. He was about to ask her if she knows where they were and what was going to happen to next, but that was just too much. So it shouldn't be very difficult. The two of us can manage this. What do you think? He read somewhere that cats should get used to the new surroundings before bathing. Fear is born out of the unknown, and in that regard, people haven't gone too far from cats. New scents, some familiar objects, and sprinkling water. Shadow. These are just the shadows under the bed that will fall back if you get better look at them. He carefully put the cat on the floor. She looked around the room again and then returned her questioning eyes to him. It seemed like she got comfortable enough. He turned on the water in the shower and felt a gentle touch. The cat was already loitering around his feet. She was curious indeed. The shower isn't so bad as compared to the rain it is. The joke came out a little awkward. He felt embarrassed and he didn't know why. It was because of how the water glistened on her skin or how she was looking at him. Lashes. Ah! He met her eyes, and each time felt shame burn through him. But the shame that was thick and sweat. He was a little dizzy. His hands slid over her smooth wet skin, with each time he would ask himself, was it really necessary? Then he felt her eyes on him. that his thoughts would melt running down her thighs with ladders disappearing between her neat toes. The bathroom shimmered, molten bright, pulsating with light or darkness. He felt he was losing his balance and pulled his hand away. But she returned and pressed it to the wet, hot skin covered in soapy feel. She guided it. Meow, meow, meow. From ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. He couldn't remember how he ended up in the living room again. Ay, ay, ay. The cat napping peacefully in his arms. Ay. He suddenly ran his hand down to Cat's wet back, tracing the bumps of her spine with his fingers. I should get you some food. Let me see what I have. Wow, he got up with just a tad bit dizzy. Nothing he couldn't handle. Still, his body felt unusually heavy and unwieldy. He had to give the cat something to eat. He will lie down afterwards, and then, hell, maybe he'll even fall asleep. Maybe he shouldn't got a cat from Australia, a bob fur with a pair of moon eyes and feathery voice that you can always navigate with. That's about it. That's kind of funny. He could have avoided all the suffering if he had a cat. The kitchen burned before his eyes. He got to the refrigerator and opened it, squinting from the light and leaning on the door way harder than he's supposed to. If the landlady was around that time, she sure would have told him exactly so don't lean on the door. After all, this is her house and her refrigerator, and everything should be neat and tidy. In this case, she has to move new tenants in. Perhaps the landlady would have even warned him about the milk. The milk itself is completely harmless, unless of course you are allergic to lactose. But there is a special kind of lactose-free milk, right? What matters is the bottle. The bottles are much like cats and can vary greatly, but this particular one was made of glass. If only the landlady was here, she would probably have told him not to touch the bottle because he's fallen on the floor and the bottle might break. And then the milk will spill and he would have nothing to feed the nice cat he found. Or rather, it was her who found him, and very timely because he was lying on the floor. He had been lying there for some time and would have been lying still if he had felt the light touch of something hot and rough on his cheek. It was almost like a dream, although, of course, comparing sleep with fainting isn't quite, no matter how you look at it. The floor beneath him was surprisingly hard, cold, and wet. He felt all those three qualities Query was afraid to imagine, and what would happen if he tried to move. But he had to move one way or another. At the least to see what's up, because something hot and rough was still sliding up his cheek, actually creeping up to his hair. He felt warm breath and then cautious bite. Ouch! He jumped on the spot. A shadow rushed to the side, could then calmly begin to lap milk from a puddle. What are you doing? The cat looked at him briskly and licked her lips.
そんなに大げさにしなくてもいいじゃない。
No need to be this dramatic.
猫でもないのに、そんな状態で寝転んでるなんてね。
You're lying indolently, and you're not even a cat, see?
それに
Besides, you're
ミルク
soaked
漬けになってる
in
し。
milk. Well, you're right. I whipped you down and had to get my punishment. I whipped myself down too. Good lord, now there's cleaning to do until next event. Like his mother, he would have said, I'll go get a rag. Stay here and don't ruin what's left of the kitchen while I'm gone. The cat watched him go with a skeptical look. Get the milk!
これって全部
Get the milk!
私のせいじゃなく
The
て
milk!
自分がやったこ
Aren't
と
you
な
the
んじゃな
one
い？
who's been causing all the trouble so far? He returned with the bucket. The cat was gone. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Hey, can you... Anyway, this was just a test. I don't really know how much... Oh yeah, here's my screen. How much, it should be for a video, but here. Anyways, please like and subscribe and tell me how I did on this video with even the voice acting there. Or, not voice acting, reading the... And tell me what do you think of the video. Okay, anyways, bye, guys.